was up with the luck. And I'm going to take a wander through here today, as usual. I'm going up to my usual place. I want to set my camp up, go through some of the kit that I'm going to take out this year. Also, a bit of a chinwag maybe. Definitely a brew up, oh yes. And just generally have a relaxing time in the woods. You know, there's some thoughts obviously, and what have you. It's not too bad. Feeling a lot better now. For those who know me, they know what I mean. Anyway guys, I'm going to shut this down for a minute because it's going to be a balancing job. The ground of this wood is a bit slippy today. We've had snow and we've had rain. Snow's all gone. We had 4 inches last Thursday. Last Tuesday. Last Tuesday we had 4 inches of snow. Now it's all gone. Anyway guys, see you in a bit. Of course, when you wander through the woods, you always have to be on the lookout for a sheltering spot, a spot to set your camp up. We all have favourite spots, I suppose. You know, this is one of mine. Unfortunately, it does get inhabited by other human beings, but it is public woodland. But thankfully, I come up here during the week, and often it's quite clear. I normally set up between that tree and Panicross and that tree. One's a Scots pine and the other is an oak. And well, I'm gonna set up and see what I can do for today. Basically, as I said earlier, it's a day for getting gear out, making sure some of it works. Basically all I've got in there is my silk bag, bivvy bag and tarp. No tent pegs. The tent pegs are all around me. Anyway, I'm going to stake it out and let's go. Of course, I'm going to have a brew. Well, there you go, guys. I've set it up. Just need to tart it up, sort things out, you know, put things everywhere. I like this setup, where it's sort of like a semi-lean-to, because if it rains during the night and I need some water, I can stick my buckets and containers at the back and catch the water that comes off of here. Also, if I get 2 poles, I can lift this right up, so it's a perfect lean-to, and the water drains right to the back. My water's boiling, so I'm going to go and brew myself up some tea and get ready for the next. So there we have it, guys, all set up. I haven't got a sleeping bag out, haven't the need for it today. Right, so what do I? The shelter there is enough room to store my gear underneath. At the end there's my buck saw, homemade, and just down there you can see there some mess. I always keep the fuel away from the fire. I haven't made a fire today, I'm just using the Trangia triangle. The tripod you see is a homemade one. I'm still working on doing the joins. They basically slot together, and I use a little bit of electrical tape to make it easier. If I come up, last time I did this I had a little pins going in there, but then suddenly discovered a split ring, drilled some holes out. Really good little lightweight tripod, and if you go up you can just see on top of the tarp rope there's a wet bag, made a canvas bag for it. There you go. Underneath, if you can look, you can see an orange, sort of a pinky orange piece of rope that goes right underneath the tarp. That's me hang-ups. I hang stuff off of it, my glasses, anything that I need to keep dry and what have you. And just there, if I can get my finger into shot, there's the toilet kit. Don't need to bring a shovel with you. If you hunt around you'll find a stout enough stick to make a digging stick with, and that will dig your cat hole for you. If you're going out for a bit longer I would suggest bringing the shovel. So that's the camp setup for this year. Yeah, it's just flexible, bits and pieces, but that's how I do it. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my tea and then have a chat in a minute. I hope it gave you some ideas, and I hope that little short bit, well, that long bit of me putting my camp up proved of some interest. I know some people like it, some people dislike it. Well, that's by the by. Big shout out to the new subscribers and to all my friends. I hope life is treating you well at the moment. So, what's been happening? On my Kiss Bushcrafts page on Facebook, there's a guy called Paul Dorr, and at the moment he's trying to garner some support to have a friction fire day with a guy called Dale Collett. Now, Dale Collett I've worked with before on another course, and he is great when it comes to friction fire. Really, really good, and you can pick up a lot of tips from him. And on that, someone actually remarked to Paul about, oh well, why would I bother paying some money to go and see someone show me friction fire when I can get it off of YouTube? And he also intimated that he couldn't see the point of friction fire lighting. I don't do friction fire all the time. Normally do it if I go away on a course. It's a good thing to have up there. It's a good skill to have. You might go out and have inadvertently forgot all your fire making equipment, and all you got is your knife and a bit of cordage, or even just your knife. You know, go out, make a hand drill set, bang, you got a fire going. Takes a lot of effort, but there is a certain thing you can't quite. I can't think of a word that would encapsulate the satisfaction you get from making fire from the very materials that surround you. It's very difficult to put into words, but you know, it's almost a high when you get it going. You've started out, you've gone out into the woods, you've got yourself a hazel wand, you've got yourself maybe some birch as the fireboard, you've carved it out, you're using a hand rule method, you get all your tinder together, you line everything up, you get that fire going. The satisfaction is just undescribable. But then each to his own. I use a fire flash normally to light my mess stove, and if I'm getting a proper fire going, the need to make an open fire is still there. I really would like to do it, but I say it's damp at the moment, and I keep saying to myself, if I'm out here just for a couple of hours, is it worth the effort to make an open fire? Certain indigenous tribes, say the Aboriginal people of Australia, if they sit down for a few minutes they will make a fire. For them it's a sense of place, and they can get one going just like that. Today, as I mentioned earlier, we've had a lot of rain and a lot of snow lately, and everything is still damp. Re-watching some of Ray Mears' stuff, the Bushcraft Survival series from 2004. Great. It's good to see bushcraft or wood outdoors living as I think it should be done. We overcomplicate it, you know. It's like, yeah, it's getting the latest shiny gadget, you know, instead of making do with like a little open fire or a very simple stove. People overcomplicate it by making really overcomplicated stoves. You've also got to take into consideration local surroundings. I mean, winter here can get quite damp and cold, so I would prefer to use the Primus cooker. Keeps going for a lot longer, you know. I can get an hour burn, so I can get a long, slow stew going. Other than that, not much on a craft front. I'm trying to sort of get into doing the crafty stuff again, but I don't know, sometimes I just run out of energy and I run out of motion, and sitting here drinking tea doesn't help. With the kit I also bought my binoculars out, try and bring them out, plus I have 2 hand lenses as well, so if I see anything small I wish to have a better look at, it helps. A good sure sign of spring this, look, that's blown out of the trees, but little buds on there, marvellous. I say I'm going to try and do some more cooking vids, do a little bit of cooking out here, but excuse me, but maybe that will be on when I do an overnight, so I can get a fire going and I will cook Aboriginal style almost, you know, very very few cooking pots, just maybe the Crusader cup to boil water up in, and everything cooked on and around the fire. Maybe just bring the billy can out so I can drop a bag of rice. 2 birds with 1 stone there, heating the rice up and boiling up the water for my tea. Not much else going on in the world at the moment. I'm just sort of, so last week of my compassionate leave, and got to go back to work next week. Next week is Easter week, so it'll be all go, it'll be all panic. But I'm just going to enjoy this. I'm going to turn this off in a minute. I may be back for some more, maybe a bit of a chinwag. But I hope you like to look around this year's camp. I might do a bit more camping on the ground. If I'm up in the lakes, it'd definitely be in the hammock. Keeps the ticks at bay, because there are an awful lot of ticks up there. Scotland will definitely be hammocking, because the ground is so damp. I mean, you know, the salmon go up the woods. Anyway, here it's just nice. I've chosen not to bring the the foam mat out. What I intend to do is maybe use the ground sheet and pile up a lot of debris underneath that and make a sort of matting out of that. But I tend to be able to find sleeping straight on the ground comfortable, providing I've got my sleeping bag to keep myself warm. Anyway guys, I'll be back in a bit. I'm going to enjoy some tea. I'm going to just relax and chill, keep quiet and see what flies past. Maybe I'll see a deer, maybe I'll see a fox, and maybe I'll see Elfie dancing, who knows. Well, while contemplating my navel just now, I'm having a sort of semi-doze, thinking about what to do. Alfie shot off and chased the fox. He's back now. Plenty of barking, which is unusual because last time we was out and a fox walked past, he didn't take a blind bit of notice. Maybe he's just trying to establish a new territory. Well, also, I was having a bit of a think about what I said earlier about dale collet and learning stuff off the net. People think that when you go and learn off YouTube, you're actually learning for free. I'd like to point out you're not. I mean, because whoops, it's getting a bit chilly. You're not. You have to pay for a broadband connection. You're going to pay for you've got to buy a computer. You've got to pay for the electricity bill so that you can watch the computer through your broadband connection. So in a sense you are paying for it. I'd also like to point out, for a lot of these guys that teach bushcraft or teach the outdoors life, whether it's Ray Mears, Joe O'Leary, Ben McNutt, Dale Collett, Mors Kahansky, it's their livelihood. You would not expect to go into a supermarket and get your food for free. You have to pay people to produce it. You come into the supermarket that I work in, I don't give you the bread for free, you've got to buy it. And likewise, many other things in life, whether you're learning photography, you go to a college to learn how to compose your pictures. Some people have a natural knack and do it. Or whether it's looking after your animals. You know, you got to pay someone along the line to buy their dog food. So whichever way you look at it, you do pay for everything in the long term, sad as it may be. So when people balk at the price and say, I can learn this for nothing, you've got to be able to go to a source. Very few people actually do learn for nothing. You know, you go out into the woods, it's not suddenly going to miraculously appear. A lot of these skills that we learn, whether it's fire by friction, making a tent peg, building a tripod, building a debris shelter, learning to live in the backwoods with minimal kit, has taken thousands of years to learn. None of it was learnt overnight, especially the foraging aspect, where picking the right plant could mean, or even picking the wrong plant really, could mean a matter of life or death. Literally, particularly with fungi, you pick the wrong amanita and bang, that's it. It's lights out and an eternal rest. But there are those who want to have everything for free, and they will, in the end, they will actually suffer. There is a social aspect side of this. I mentioned it on one of my things. There is very much the social aspect. I pay to go on courses, you know, and I'm doing the native again this year. I'm going back to Scotland again this year with the same group of people, and it's a social aspect as well. It's being there with a group of like-minded people. Though they call it the coastal foraging course, it's not in Scotland, it's not really a course as such. I mean, it was more like an expedition. You know, we was out, we was foraging every day, we was getting shellfish, we putting long lines out. We had a guy called, I think it was Paul Kibby. He come up, fungi expert, took us out fungi foraging, and he was showing us the right fungi, what to look for, because again, with fungi in particular, you've got to be spot on. It's no good thinking, well, you know, I'm 95% sure that I can eat this, because that 5% could kill you, and invariably it will kill you. And it's learning from people that have learnt from people. A lot of our skills that we have in this country have lost. I've got a book on woodcraft which was published in the 1930s, and a lot of those skills of chair making and that have almost died out, and a lot of the skills we have for this environment have almost died out. It's the likes of Ray and what have you that have actually managed to keep them going to somewhat. My only criticism with Ray Mears is the amount that he charges for his courses now. But then again, people are buying into the name. I buy into the tradition, I buy into the tuition. I want to learn something. You can't possibly learn everything from a book. There are the nuances, the little things that you can't put down on paper. You know, like the way the weather is. When I had my bakery, I could walk into the bakery, I could look out the window, see the weather and think, well, I've got to make my doughs in a certain way, just so that they would work right. And it's the same with this. It's the nuances. It's knowing that, oh, the wind's coming in a certain direction, it wouldn't be very good for fishing today. Or I can see a heavy cloud on the horizon, I might as well stay in camp, do some camp duties, because I know that going out I won't find anything. And there you have it, guys. I'm going to have some soup, and little doggie's back now, with a sort of surprised look on his face, I think. Got a fluffy head. I think chasing the fox has given him more than a little bit of exercise today. Anyway, guys, see you down the lane. Well, there's Alfie, the great fox chasing doggy. There we go. Wonderful little dog, great companion. Just sits there looking and waiting. Normally he's waiting for a markie or some treat from my pocket. Alfie, there you go.